This is a Facebook and YouTube live podcast show that celebrates everything we feel is awesome in the hopes of spreading our fandom to you. After the live show, you can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you find your audio fix. Each week, we dive into the hearts of fandoms, celebrating the things we love, from sci-fi to fantasy, movies to TV shows, comics to video games. We explore the universes that have captured our imaginations and made us lifelong fans. Expect passionate discussions, in-depth analyses, side quests, and maybe even a few things hiding under the bed. Whether you're a die-hard yippee-ki-yay motherfucker or just dipping your toes in the fandom waters, Nerd Positive is the place to be. I'm your host, the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butin, and with me every week I have the unverified twin of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the eyebrows, the unverified twin of Dave Bautista in the head wrinkles, the unverified twin of Carl Weathers in the mustache,
the flavor saver,
the unverified twin of Shamar Moore in the nipples, and the unverified twin of Tony Todd in the earlobes. That's right. You can hear what we're cooking.
And we'll be cooking a lot the next few days. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to our podcast. We are so glad that you have survived the pandemic and are now Nerd Positive. My name is Brian S. Dennis, and this week the S stands for the Land of Oz.
Yes, as it should, as it really should. I mean, do you got any big shout outs this week?
I made a shout out. I want to thank again my barber Kelly. Went to see him yesterday. He hooked me up as always. Some no major shout outs this week. What about you, my friend?
Man, I spent the entire week working my ass off.
Yo.
Dude, so my assistant Summer has got her tonsils out, which is a kind of a big thing when you're 20.
Facts.
Yeah. And it just happened to coincide with the super long, busy weeks. So I went out of town with my wife.
A couple movies dropped in the last, week or so. There's a couple, nothing that you expected to be hits or have a lot of, red one. But like none of those things, right? So yeah.
So I come back from Branson where my wife and I went and had fun for the weekend last weekend, and I worked like 60 hours. And yes, leading up to Gladiator 2 and Wicked, Glicked or Wikiator or whatever we're calling, but I did watch both of them.
You got okay. All right. So I can't wait to get to our favorites because I got to one of the two, but I will get to them both. But yes. Okay.
Yes. I was thinking about you. I was going to invite you to Gladiator 2, but it was for a showing that I knew for sure I was going to get pulled away from multiple times, but we'll talk about it, dude. So I just got to shout out the lunch break reviews. Yes, I did G.I. Joe #1. If you haven't checked out that comic book, dude, get it. It is fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Let me just say this. Here's my pitch for you. Baroness is a Joe.
Really?
I'm sure it's not going to last forever.
No. So is she also the Baroness, or is this a pre-Baroness version of her?
No, she's the Baroness.
Okay. All right.
And she's a Joe.
Tell me she still wears the glasses, though. Does she wear the glasses?
Dude, any artist that takes the glasses off Baroness should be ashamed of themselves and don't know a thing about G.I. Joe.
Absolutely.
And Tom Riley, you know a thing about G.I. Joe. So
all right.
We're okay with this.
Okay.
Yes. You can check out my lunch break review on that. Cobra Kai, the new part of the season dropped.
Sure. Yep.
So you can check out that as well. And I did a movie Minnesota of Gladiator 2 and a full episode of Wicked.
Nice,
I put all of those on the lunch break point system.
Nice.
And we'll cover that in our favorites of the week. And I'll let you know where Gladiator 2 and Wicked ended up.
All right, my friend. So speaking of that, let's just jump into it. Let's get to
Let's
our
do it.
favorites of the week. All right. So I'll lead off if you're okay with that. I'm gonna start with my shows of the week because I think we're gonna spend some time on the movies. So this last week has been chock full, and I haven't even gotten to everything I want to watch. So this is a great
Mhm.
time of year where you have a lot of either, especially for streaming series, you have a lot of great series that are finishing up, and you have a lot of great new series that are starting. So among my favorites of the week is, and this one is top of the list, is the season finale of the show From. And I talk about From all the time. It's fantastic. So From, very similar to Lost,
Mhm.
has all these things in the background to give you breadcrumbs of clues about what's going on. So this is the season finale of the third season.
So
Uh,
now's a good time for me to take the free trial so I
this
can.
would be a great time
Okay.
to binge and catch up. So with that, I would say I won't give you any spoiler other than this did what Lost started doing, but then stopped doing, which is it answered some major questions with the episode that dropped today, but it also gave us some great new questions for season 4. So that is what we needed. So before you give us more questions, answer some of the ones we've already had. So it did a great job of that and advanced some story arcs for about 3 or 4 major characters going forward. And similar in the vein of Game of Thrones, don't get too attached to any character. Also similar to The Walking Dead. That's probably a
Mhm.
closer comparison. Don't get attached to any specific character. So I gotta say, From fantastic. I also we talked about this text a little bit earlier. Been checking out the new series Cross.
Dude.
Very cool. So here's the
Dude.
deal. I don't know if he's as good as Morgan Freeman. He's damn sure better than Tyler Perry. So
Yeah.
Aldous
Yeah.
Hodge, every now and then I wanted some wings to sprout out of his back, but that's just me. That's just me fan casting.
He was the best Hawkman that we will ever have.
Absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
man, like that Black Adam should have been a Justice Society of America
Yes,
movie, and they shouldn't
yes,
have put Black
yes,
Adam in it. Black Adam
yes,
should have been in Shazam. But
yes.
hey, we
And should
digress.
have
It's all done with
whooped
you.
the jollywop out of Billy Batson. Okay.
That's right. I mean, hey, The Rock had to settle to be an elf security
Yeah.
guard in the North Pole.
But think
Yeah.
about it. We live in a world where licensing and all this stuff happens where sometimes things get complicated. We have a series of movies with Venom that there's no Spider-Man. We have a
Mhm.
series, we had Madam Web, no Spider-Man. We've had Black Adam, no Shazam.
Yeah,
So,
and now they're all
or
going to
Captain
come
Marvel
back
if you're really
and
old
fight
school.
and all.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one I wanted to just talk about is have you checked out Dune Prophecy yet?
I haven't.
It, it
I've heard a
Go
lot
ahead.
of mixed things.
I really enjoyed the first episode. Now, here's the deal. So it takes place 10,000 plus years before the first Doom, before Paul Atreides is born.
Mm-hmm.
So it really has nothing to do other than it sets the stage for what happens in Dune and Dune Part 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it really follows the sisters and how they come to be, and really the beginning of the voice, that power that you see multiple individuals have, including Paul Atreides. It's more in the vein of Game of Thrones
Okay.
than Dune. It really
Okay.
is, and it's really the political side of the empire, if you will. Okay,
Okay.
so it talks a lot. So it's more how that group, those witches, 'cause I think that's kind of how they're looked at,
Mm-hmm.
assert power. And it's after one episode. The casting is great. I really have enjoyed it. The first episode is about an hour and a half, so that's almost like a mini movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it covers a lot of different things. And then this one flew a little bit under the radar, but honestly, I had a little bit of downtime that I never have. So I decided I kind of got out of Netflix. I jumped in. What's Netflix got for me? And I watched, and I would just say this: if you are a fan of The Good Place, and I know you are,
Yeah.
you have to check out Man on the Inside.
That's the one Ted Danson, right?
That is the one with Ted Danson. It has some actors from both The Good Place and Superstore. It's from the same creator as The Good Place. It has very similar tone
Mm-hmm.
as The Good Place. It goes from at one point, and again, I compare it also to Superstore. It goes from points being this kind of slapstick silly, which is nice,
Mm-hmm.
to having great moments of just get understand the people side of the characters, right? So some really
Yeah.
great human moments. So I won't call it a dramedy. It is definitely more of a comedy than a drama. Also, so just to give you a few people, so we have, and forgive me for not remembering the name of the actors, but if you know the show, so if you know Superstore, the individual that played and I'm sorry, the heavier set chubby cashier who was always kind of the Eeyore character, always kind of down. She's in it.
Okay.
If you again, the actor that played the judge, not the actual judge, the Maya Rudolph character, but the previous judge, Judge Sean, he's in it. And then and you will like this. So Beatrice, who played Rosa in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, dude.
She is almost unrecognizable because they changed her hair and they just changed her whole, like, for a moment I'm like, is that? And I actually had to Google the cast, but she's in, and Ted Danson is fantastic. He is I was a little disappointed. He had his first foray after The Good Place was Mr. Mayor. That was a horrible show. It died a quick death, as it should have. This is more Ted Danson. Again, very similar to his ability to go from comedy and it's kind of fish out of water to giving great insights that he either learns or shares as part of this. So Man on the Inside is, and the entire season's dropped. It's only 8 episodes. So you can definitely catch up with it. They're 30, 35 minutes a piece. Again, if you like The Good Place, you will totally dig Man on the Inside.
Nice. I'll check it out. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get MGM Plus. I guess like $2 for like a month or something like that.
From is worth it.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm gonna warn you, if you really, and this is a great time to do it because you can binge the 3 seasons and then you can let your free trial go until it comes back in probably a year from now.
Yeah.
But it is addictive. I watched it as kind of a one-off. Again, I was looking for something to stream. I happened to, and after, I mean, I literally MGM Plus strictly, that and Yellow Jackets, but really, and MGM Plus has a few decent movies, but seriously, From is the anchor show for that entire streaming service. It is fantastic. It definitely got some creepy things. So it's got some scary moments. It is not a Leia show. Which
Okay.
you probably already grasped. I mean, it's scary. It is.
Yeah.
But just the layers and just trying to figure out all the different things and the different people in the town that they never name. So it's either, so online that people call it Fromville because they never named the town, at least at this part of the series. But again, it is, I just can't speak more. I want to almost do the Chef Kiss thing with it. Definitely, I think it is HBO series quality. I mean, it is a high quality show. It is a high quality show.
Don't they have a Billy the Kid show too that's pretty good?
They do have a Billy the Kid show that's pretty good. I mean, they definitely have someone. Like I said, I think the two that really anchored that streaming service is that, and I want to say Yellow Jackets also is released on
It's Showtime.
Oh, it's Showtime.
It's Showtime.
It's Showtime, but I
Paramount
forget how
Plus.
it's Paramount Plus. There it is.
Yep.
Remember, Yellow Jackets is Paramount Plus.
Dude,
So
Paramount's on fire.
Paramount is totally on fire. That's what I didn't mention. Hopefully, maybe you catch it. I have not had a chance to watch Landman yet, and I so kicked myself. I got caught up on Landman and on Lion of season 2. But go for it, sir. What do you got? I got my movie I want to talk about, but I'll let you start off.
Yeah, we'll go one at a time, I guess, for TV shows. The only ones that I gotta say that you didn't say was, well, first I've only watched one episode across, and it took me about 10 minutes to be invested in it.
Yeah, I think I'm on episode 3, and same deal. Like, okay, this is a same. They had me at the beginning. I'm like, yes. And I hate the chief so much that it makes me watch the show. Right? I just dislike her so much. Like, oh, I gotta watch this now.
Right. Yeah. But I have watched an episode of Landman, and it is very, very. It's fantastic. I am down on Lioness. I am not caught up on Lioness. I haven't watched the finale of Tulsa King yet. I haven't got to watch Yellowstone yet because we, for some reason, we can't get. Why
is Taylor Sheridan? They just need to stop calling it Paramount Plus and let's call it Taylor Plus or something like that. Because I mean, they have quality shows across the board like Elsbeth and Tracker. I mean, they have good shows. Matlock, but when you talk about the absolute, he's not had a miss at this moment. I
I would
mean,
go see his shows on the theater.
yes, I mean, Bass Reeves, everybody knows Yellowstone,
Dude.
the two prequels, Tulsa King, Mayor of Kingstown, now Landman. I mean, the guy doesn't sleep. I mean,
He doesn't miss either.
I'm sorry, and he doesn't miss, and he
Yeah.
gets. Think about the actors that he had. I mean, these are bona fide movie stars that
Yeah.
you know, Morgan Freeman, Nicole Kidman, Zoe Saldana, Billy Bob Thornton. I mean, all these people. I mean, Kevin Costner, not Kevin Costner, but
Well, yeah, Kevin
yeah,
Costner.
Kevin Costner. Yeah, I mean, all these high quality people that and not that you have to be moving to be a high quality person, but you think these actors come with high price points and at points in their careers, they can be extremely selective, and they are.
Yeah. So what you're saying is
selective about what they do. Yeah.
If you build it,
they will come.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, including if you pull some out of the bed. Anyway, please continue.
Awesome. And then Fire Country. I'm a couple episodes down. Now Jared Padalecki's in it now.
Yep.
But other than that, man,
he's also in Tracker.
No, that's Jensen Ackles.
I get them confused.
I know they're roughly the same person.
They really are.
Yeah.
It's almost supernatural.
Well done. Best game. I started jamming on Hogwarts Legacy a little bit.
Sure.
And then my comic of the week is G.I. Joe #1. There's a new their Star Wars is telling the story of the Battle of Jakku right now in a 12-part series, and it sucks. It is not very good. It's pretty stupid so far. There are 4 issues in, and I haven't even read issue 4 because number 3 was just dumb. So there's that. Maybe hopefully it gets better. The cover looks pretty good, so we'll see. But the movie, I gotta say, Glicked. It's both, man. Wicked. Okay, so I ended up on my lunch break point system. I have 5 categories, and just to go over them really, really quick here, let me find it. Maybe. Okay. Where are you? Oh, there we go. Main course, side dish, spice level, and leftover peel and dessert. And Wicked ended up at 22 points out of 25, and Gladiator ended up at 20 of 25.
Okay, I heard Gladiator's 20 of 25. What did Wicked come in? What would Wicked come in?
Wicked came in at 22 of 25, man. Gladiator, there was one part of Gladiator is a good movie. It's a good movie. There's a lot of political stuff. It has a lot of the same beats of the old one, but it also feels fresh.
Okay.
And I was worried that I was going to go into it and it was feel like they were trying too hard to make a connection. And I didn't have that feeling. So good thing for them. And spoiler alert, it's probably not, I mean, I'm sure by now you know the main character is Lucius. There's things in there that don't make sense. Like one, there's a naval battle scene in the Colosseum with great white sharks. And I'm like, okay, how did you catch great white sharks in 200 AD? I don't know, but it's good. But Wicked is phenomenal. Cynthia Erivo, I'm saying her name wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's gonna get an Oscar. She's so good in this movie. I liked her way more than I liked Ariana Grande, but they contrasted so good together. I mean, you could just feel the opposite between them, but then you could also feel the connection between them too, which is exactly what they need to do. Now, I've never seen the Broadway play. I've never heard a Wicked song, or if I did, I didn't realize it, and it was fantastic. I would go see it again. What about you, Brian?
I absolutely loved it. Again, I am not seeing Gladiator 2. Ariana Grande was annoying, and I think she was supposed to be. So, so understand that I'm not criticizing by saying her character was annoying. She 100% was meant to be annoying, and she leaned into it, and I think she did her job. You're right. The actors that play Elphaba should definitely get a Oscar nomination. She was fantastic. Just her singing. But she played a multi-layered character, which I really, really enjoyed. The other big part of it is, I will say, my criticism of it was it's entirely too long.
It
It's
is 3
entirely
hours is a
Yeah,
long
it's
time.
entirely. What was the runtime on Gladiator 2? Was it about 3 hours?
No, it was closer to like maybe 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Wicked is longer than Gladiator 2, which is meant to be a sweeping epic, if it's anything like the first one. Versus, understand that Wicked is a musical. That the entire story of Wicked, when it was a musical, was about 2 hours and 40
Yeah.
minutes. The Wicked film that comes in at 240 is part one. With
Yep.
that being said, so the director, I read a few articles online. The director definitely um, dug more in
hmm
to the characters, especially the childhood and some of the scenes, like the Oz Fest. Jeff Goldblum was fantastic
God, I love
as
him.
Oz. I mean, this was a role. No disrespect to James Franco, but this was a role that he, as an older wizard,
hmm
completely sunk his teeth into it. I mean, and there was, again, I've never seen the original source material, neither the book nor the
hmm
movie, but there's something like, where this is going, and that again
Yeah.
is perfectly fine because it was
hmm
executed well. Other than it being probably, it could have easily been 25 to 30 minutes less than what it was. I loved, and again, for folks that have not seen Wicked, spoiler alert, the scene with the monkeys was fantastic.
Yeah.
Ashley read up on the source material to find out, kind of, again, reading ahead, like what happens in part two. And I didn't realize that so much of Wicked is not the origin of the Wicked Witch of the West, but also of the East, and then significant other characters such as the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow, which will obviously have to happen in the second part of this.
Now,
Yeah, go ahead.
do you think the cub in that movie ends up becoming the cowardly lion?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So that cub does grow up to be the Cowardly Lion, and again, without getting into spoiling people that don't want to know, it also again gives into the origin stories of Tin Man and Scarecrow, who, I will give you a baby one, we have already met. We have already met. Um, so yeah, right. So with that being said,
Okay.
I'm really excited for part two. It's a year from now.
Yeah. November
November.
21st.
Yeah, but it was done really well, and you have two incredible singers and a musical. So you wanted the execution to be done really well. The execution was done well. Other than, again, even my boy from Bridgerton, he held his own. It just was a little long. It was a little long. So, but that being said, I saw it at Flicks. The theater I was in, if it wasn't completely sold out, it was easily 90+% sold out, and there was not a moment that people were disinterested.
hmm
People were singing along that knew the songs, so it's not that the runtime is going to hurt its, I think, its popularity. But again, it just, I think, again, you could have cut off 20 to 30 minutes of it and still been a phenomenal movie. And the last thing of it is, and which was one reason I wanted to see it, so much of the backstory of what I heard was, it talks again about who the Wicked Witch or Elphaba actually was before.
hmm
And Wicked is definitely a point of view and a matter of opinion, and just how they did so many of the things in the movies that not only were already in the original source material, but are really relevant to today,
hmm
which just drew me in more. So again, if I was given a scale on that 25-point scale, I think I'd be right there with you, and probably a 22. And the reason, and what probably kept it from being a 23 or 24, again, was that runtime. But it's fantastic, and it's definitely something that I will be purchasing as soon as it comes to home streaming.
Awesome. All right, man. With that, those are our favorites, so check them out. It's time to get into. We have two topics tonight. Do you want? Let's talk some WWE because
All right.
we have something special coming up this weekend. What do we got?
We have, I'm going to do my best, AAA Survivor Series War Games. By the way, before we jump
Or
into
Batman.
it, yeah, before we jump into this, way before Batman did this, but the amount of wrestlers who have their promo or wrestler voice It sounds so different. I don't know if you ever heard Shawn Michaels, aka, by the way, if you don't know, his real name is Michael Higginbotham. I always love that. But listening to Shawn Michaels' regular speaking voice versus the Shawn Michaels promo voice, listen to Paul Levesque, Triple H's, their speaking voices. Taker, who doesn't talk much. Anyway, now Austin and The Rock, who I think are probably the best two promo people in the world, their voices, that's pretty much how they speak.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan has a different speaking voice. I'm assuming LA Knight has a different speaking voice. But I'm just wondering, like, that's got to be so harsh on your vocal cords to have that project when they drop a promo. So that was my attempt at sounding like Batman, aka Triple H. But remember, together, now, then, forever, together. Okay. All right. So yeah,
Batman.
Yeah, I'm Triple H. I married the boss's daughter, but I'm still really good at my job. So yes, we'll talk about it in just a second. So what we've got going on is this coming Saturday, which is Survivor Series War Games. This used to be billed as the Thanksgiving tradition. So Brad, when I was a kid, Survivor Series was always on Thanksgiving night, and then they have made it just around Thanksgiving, but sometimes before, sometimes after, but around that Thanksgiving time frame. And then obviously we've got it done now. That's going to be they now do their PLEs, their premium live events. We used to call them pay-per-views. Instead of it now being on a Sunday, it's now WWE now does theirs on Saturdays for the main roster. That's going to be this coming Saturday, the 30th. So with that being said, I checked online. They have 3 officially announced matches. There will be at least 2 more. Yeah. They're not going to do an event with only 3 matches. We're going to have to talk about what we think those other, let's say, 2 matches will be. But here's the card. So the way that we do this, Bradley and I will run through the card. We will discuss it just a little bit from the backstory, the storyline development, and then we will say who we think, who we want to win first, and do who we think will win. So let's start off they have 2 War Games matches this year. They've had the last couple years, one for the male competitors, one for the female competitors. Let's start off with, and also the match that I think will be the first match on the card, which is the female competitors Judgment Day. So we have War Games, which will be representing the Judgment Day. So Raquel Rodriguez and our girl Liv Morgan, who I think is probably my favorite female heel on the roster right now. She is awesome. Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. And they will be facing off against Io Sky, Naomi, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Bianca Belair, and just Jade Cargill. And no, it is actually Bailey now. I just saw this. Yeah. Jade is actually out, so it's not going to be Bailey, which is probably a good thing. I think Jade's maybe a little green, and it just also has a storyline.
Didn't she get hurt?
She did. So did you happen to see, before we get into all this, because this will lead to the men's match here in a moment, did you see SmackDown or have a chance to chat with SmackDown for this past Friday?
Just the spoilers. Okay. That's what I watched, because I actually went to watch. That's when I went and watched Gladiator.
Okay. I went and watched Wicked during that time, and I was caught up on it Saturday morning. So by the way, he is back. And that was just 2 people are back, and it was just fantastic. So geeked out a little bit. But what we have is Bailey, Io Sky, Naomi, Bianca Belair, and then the part that we both geeked out and peed a little bit on this past Monday. She's back. By the way, if you saw her on Friday, she comes out with the all black face mask, almost Undertaker-ish. And then we'll be great. So with that being said, in fact, I just got to tell you, I need to return real quick. Just give me one moment, okay, bud?
Yeah, you betcha, man.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Brian is gone. What are we going to talk about? What shall we talk about? Let's go over the lunch break score sheet so far. This is what I've done. Movies, I got 4 on the books. Heretic, I rated it a 22 out of 25. Red 1 is sitting at a 14 out of 25. Gladiator 2 is at a 20 of 25. Wicked is at a 22 of 25 as well. For TV shows, I have rated The Penguin sitting at a 21. And then Penguin as a whole sitting at a 24 out of 25. The show High Potential, I got it sitting at a 20 out of 25. And Cobra Kai, I got sitting at a 22 of 25. Don't know what I'm going to do this week yet. I'm thinking probably Cross. I know movie-wise it's going to be Moana 2. I'm really, really looking forward to that. Comic-wise, comic scoring, I've reviewed 4 comics. Absolute Superman, believe it or not, is sitting at a 24, 25 points on the lunch break point system.
But are you walking on air?
Yes, he is.
I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Bradley, who could it be?
Superman.
Believe it or not, it's just me. Dude, I'm sorry. Thank you, by the way, for the patience. I just had to return a quick message. Came in right on the tail end of that, and I heard you talking about Absolute Superman, believe it or not. For those folks that don't know the reference, in fact, Bradley, do you know the reference of that lyrics I just dropped? What show is that from?
I don't.
The Greatest American Hero.
I do.
Talk about a show that needs to
easily be redone.
Why has that not occurred to us with all the superhero genres going on right now?
Yeah.
Think of how awesome that would be. Dude, what if it was Michael Cera?
We are gonna reboot this.
We're gonna reboot The Greatest American Hero. Yes, absolutely. I already in my head though, I'll change it. But I'm thinking, I don't know who would be awkward. What about someone like Michael Cera? Like just a little awkward, like, oh hey, I can fly now. So anyone listen to the podcast, if you don't know The Greatest American Hero, check it out. You can Google it. I know it used to stream on Amazon Prime. It may or may not still be streaming, but I'm sure you can catch snippets of it on YouTube. And it was just known. It's a really good show. Typical 70s show. Was on for like 3 seasons. That was it. I caught it in reruns. So when I was a kid, during summer vacation, it was so awesome because a lot of the old superhero shows were on in syndication and reruns in the middle of the day. So the Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby, Incredible Hulk series, those Spider-Man movies in the late 70s where you could totally see like the wire holding him up on the wall, and then The Greatest American Hero, which is a fantastic show. We're gonna reboot it. We're gonna pre-binge it for you here in a future episode. But that just when you said believe it or not, that the hook of that theme song came to my head. But sir, please continue with your review, sir. So again, thank you for your time and your patience, my friend.
No, that's it. Let's get back into war games, man.
All right. So the second match that again. So let's finish it up. So we've got the women's war game match. We got Rhea Ripley and her team versus Liv Morgan and her team. So who do you think, number one, will win this? Who do you want to? Let's do that first. Who do you want to win? Team Rhea or Team Liv?
I want Rhea to win.
Okay. Who do you think will win?
I think Liv is going to win.
Okay.
I don't think she's going to be on a losing streak yet.
All right.
Well, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, actually, I think they may give this win to Rhea and them.
Okay.
I think they might, just because this win doesn't matter.
Right.
There's no stakes in it.
Absolutely. No titles are on the line.
Their feud along.
Right. And the whole deal of it is, with it being a 10-person tag match, my guess is, so my thoughts are also very similar to yours, is I both want Team Rhea to win, and I also think Team Rhea will win. I think Rhea 100% gets the pin. I don't think she probably pins Liv Morgan. My guess is she may pin. We look at the women's side. I'm thinking Candice LeRae. She's probably the least big name on that, so she could be the sacrificial lamb of it. And the other thing that may come of this, which would be very interesting, is remember that in the match you have both women's world champion. You have both Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, and you have the women's Money in the Bank holder, all in one match, all in one cage. at the end of a match that you will see most likely competitors physically exhausted, this might be a very good time.
Question.
Yes.
If Tiffany cashes in the Money in the Bank in the match, can she pick she can pick whoever, or
She
can it
can
be
pick.
both? So if both of them are laid
Ooh.
out, so if both
Yes.
Liv
Yes.
and Nia are laid out,
Yes.
and she goes to pin Liv, and she wakes up, and then
Yes.
Liv screws Nia out and does another move on Nia and gets
Yes.
the pin. What is that? Is that legal? I mean, obviously it's legal, but
I think that's how they could even book it. Would be she tries to cash in on Liv, maybe Raquel saves Liv or something happens, but then as a result of that, she's able to cash in on Nia. I also think that also builds to the next piece of it. So, King and Queen of the Ring was a few months ago, as was the Money in the Bank pay-per-views, and they've been kind of nursing this feud along a little bit. And I think it is time for that next step for it possibly to be Tiffy time for her to cash in. That might be great. And that also would make sense that they split it, because now you've got Candice LeRae as hanging on as well with that group. So if you could do a split, then Candice can kind of fill the role that Tiffany has been serving as Nia's second. All right. So then we're going to move in. And again, I'm sure there'll be other matches here, but given the three that are already announced, then we move to the only title match that's currently on the card, which is Gunther the Ring General defending his world title versus the man he defeated for the championship due to interference by the Judgment Day, namely Finn Balor. The man trying to be El Campeon again, Damian Priest. So, my friend, this is booked to be a straight world title match, singles, one, no special stipulations. So who do you want to win, Gunther or Priest? And then who do you think will win, Gunther or Priest?
I want Priest to win.
Okay,
but I don't think I think Gunther's going to keep the belt a little longer.
All right. I also think Gunther will win, and that's who I want. Well, I want Gunther to win, and I also think that is who will win. The Gunther, I think the person that Gunther eventually drops the title to is who takes the championship into WrestleMania, and I don't think that necessarily. I don't think that's Damian Priest. I think there's three, and I would have said a few months ago two. I think at this point there are three possibles to unseat Gunther and going into WrestleMania. Before, I would have said it would be either CM Punk or Seth freaking Rollins, so they could have their match at WrestleMania, which would have happened WrestleMania 4. It had not been for Punk's legitimate injury, but it's undeniable the crowd reaction that Jey Uso's getting. And I think Triple H and that leadership will pay attention to that. Jey Uso had a very short Intercontinental title reign in furtherance of the Bloodline feud. It would not shock me. I still if I was laying money on it, I still say Gunther is beaten either by Rollins or Punk. But if Gunther either doesn't drop the title before WrestleMania and actually goes into WrestleMania as champion, I could actually see it being Jey Uso. I could actually see it being Jey Uso, which would, I think, as a fan, just from a pure fan standpoint, Punk and Rollins don't need the title on the line.
No.
They do need to have a match event because they built it, and then they've done a great job of kind of keeping them separate since Punk's come back from injury. But at some point, they're going to have a match at WrestleMania. That's where the match should happen. But it doesn't necessarily have to be for the world title, and I would love to see. Right now, my preference for that championship would be Gunther versus Jey, with Jey becoming World Heavyweight Champion. I think he's just done a phenomenal job in the ring, getting over with the fans, and he's just got a natural ground as well as support that I think they need to key in on.
I think Priest needs to partner up with R-Truth, and they need to go into the tag team world. Truth. I mean, we love R-Truth.
We love us some R-Truth.
He can't do a lot of single stuff because he's just too good with people.
He needs someone to play off of. Absolutely.
Right.
His best match, his best work was when whether it was the Judgment Day or the Awesome Truth, having
Yeah.
that person or persons to really interact with.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's doing a decent job with the backstage vignettes. Also, and again, the guy's in much better shape than I am, but he's in his mid 50s at this point.
Yeah.
So got to give it to Ron Killings.
He's killings it.
He is killings it. And is gonna probably do the axe kicks split into the Hall of Fame whenever he decides to hang it up. But you're right, and I think they could do that, especially if he continues to be the subject matter of being assaulted by the founder Tesla. Even that's kind of moves that over to Wyatt's at this point.
Yeah.
But
Which that's a match that probably is going to happen.
Yeah. And that may be one of the matches that, and I ask here in a second. In fact, let's just do this now.
Okay.
So before we talk about what will definitely be the main event, again, we have a card now that only has 3 matches, but War Games are long matches. Okay. So if you don't know the way War Games works, you have 10 competitors in the match. They come in at, I believe they change the intervals depending on time, but I believe the intervals that they usually stay is anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. So you go one competitor from each team starts, and then they alternate compare to all 10, and that's not until the 10th competitor is in the ring is when War Games starts, and then they have a full match before the ending, and they're going to do that twice. So it is not uncommon that War Games matches are 30 plus minutes a piece. So once you get that out of the way, and you're gonna have a world title match that probably will go 20 minutes because it's a world title match. There probably can fit 2 more matches in this. So what are your thoughts on what might be the 2 additional matches we see for Survivor Series War Games?
I think for sure we're going to get a Wyatt 6 versus Final Testament Miz, or Miz is actually going to be part of the Final Testament. However, they're going to do that. And as far as the other one goes, I don't know. I don't see it being a female one.
Okay.
Maybe. Well, you know what? I take that. Maybe they'll do the female USA Championship that they announced.
Well, the finals are going to be on Saturday night's main event, but that could be where they do maybe the semifinals could definitely be at War Games. Let's talk about that when you get them on. But go ahead.
But really, all the big people are going to be in the War Games. So I don't know. I don't know.
You're right with that, which makes it kind of interesting because when you look at that, so Bailey is in the semifinals already, as is trying to look at the rest of the competitors. From SmackDown, it's right now I think it's just Bailey at this moment. But I also think potentially they keep talking about Cody and Kevin Owens. They've and as much as I've disliked how this feud started, Kevin Owens has done his best to acquit himself. He got the pile driver over. I don't think anybody since Terry Funk made the top pile driver looked at intimidating, at least on purpose, and possibly will get Cody defending against Kevin Owens, which probably would just be a segue of having Randy Orton show back up. But I could definitely see maybe a Wyatt 6 versus Final Testament, and that could be a traditional Survivor Series match there.
Yeah.
That's an elimination. All right, sir. So since you brought it up, real quick before we talk about the main event, so we have the introduction, and there are going to be 2 more introductions. Or at least one more. I think they've already introduced the other one. But so we know that there is the Women's United States Championship, which will be the secondary title for women on SmackDown, and at some point there's going to be a women's intercontinental. They were actually mentioning in rumors and discussions that there will be a women's intercontinental championship before the women's US title, so that will be coming at some point. But I'm curious if you have thoughts on I'll ask you the question again, same way. Who do you think or who do you want to win the Women's United States Championship versus who do you think will win the Women's United States
there's
Championship?
There's a lot of good choices here. I mean, like, honestly, dude, Dakota Kai is killing it right now. So is Io Sky. I mean, like, Io Sky's doing amazing right now. But
the only thing is that they're both on Raw, so
that's true.
This is SmackDown. I get where you're going, though. I totally get where you're going.
Yeah.
So just to tell you who's left, so here's what we've got right now is, so we've got the semifinals is fairly set away. So right now we've got based on what I found, is we have Bailey and Chelsea Green are going to be one semifinal match, and you've got Lash Legend, Michin, and Piper Niven in a triple threat match, and then you've got Naomi, Tiffany Stratton,
Ooh.
and Elektra Lopez in the other one.
Where's no Zelina's on Raw?
Z- Zelina is on Raw. Elektra Lopez is a female member of the Legado faction. Naomi, I know you know Tiffany Stratton, and then Lash Legend, Michin, and Piper Niven. So, who do you? So what I have found is they already have Michin
Mm-hmm.
slotted as winning the triple threat between Lash Legend, Michin, and Piper Niven. I'm assuming that maybe that was the match was already pre-taped. So the only triple threat match that is left to decide who will face Michin is Naomi. So let's just do it this way. So in the triple threat, which would be Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, and Elektra Lopez, who do you see walking out of that match?
Naomi.
Okay, which would make sense. Tiffany already
Yeah.
holds the Money in the Bank, and my guess is one of those. I'm assuming that Naomi probably beats Elektra Lopez. She's in the match primarily to take the pinfall. So now we have Bailey versus Chelsea Green. Who do you see winning that one? That's a semifinal match.
I see Bailey winning that one.
So then that would say by what we've already fan casted, Michin versus Naomi. Who do you see winning that, Michin or Naomi?
You're gonna see where I'm going with this. I say Naomi is gonna win that,
And then Bailey versus Naomi. Your choice is.
Oh, that's a tough one because they're friends. I think that's the way they're gonna go, and I think Naomi's gonna win.
Nice. I also think it would be kind of cool that if it is Bailey and Naomi, um, Naomi has been a babyface for the majority of her career. She was a heel for a little bit. We also know she's currently married. Well, not current. She's married to Jimmy Uso. If you didn't know that, but now the Bloodline are babyfaces again. But what if it was Bailey? And I agree with you. If it's Bailey versus Naomi, I think Bailey probably wins. But then what if that is Naomi's heel turn with that? I personally don't see it going a little different just because, again, I know you didn't watch SmackDown. If you have a chance to watch when Chelsea Green won her triple threat match, fans were out of their seats.
Dude, Chelsea Green is good.
She is, and while she's supposed to be a heel, she's so good at being a heel that she's turned herself into a baby face. Yeah, whether she wants to be or not. By the way, if you have a chance to listen in her interviews, she's fantastic. She's absolutely fantastic. I mean, just as a person, Chelsea Green is really cool. I personally think, and I was hoping they would save this for the finals, but based on what I found online, there is a semifinal match. I could actually see Chelsea beating Bailey and then winning the whole tournament. And Chelsea, and after that's who I hope it is. It would not shock me if it's Bailey. They keep mentioning how she's done all these first. She's a 4-time women's champion, the first women's Triple Crown champion. She also, her and Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Moné, were the first women's tag team champions, at least this version of it. So going with Bailey gives the title immediate legitimacy, which is not a bad thing. But I do think whether it's her first title by winning a tournament or soon after, I do think we're going to see Chelsea Green. If I could say Chelsea Green, I can't. And that's that's the hardest part with Samantha Irvin being gone. Even though she wasn't on, she wasn't the Raw announcer. I mean, she wasn't the SmackDown announcer. No one could do Chelsea's intro as good as Samantha Irvin.
Man, she's yeah.
But with that being said, okay, so I agree with you. I think we'll see a couple other matches, because then we'll get to our second part of our itinerary. So the main event is going to be the Bloodline versus the Bloodline, or the Bloodline-ish versus the OG Bloodline-ish. Because we have members on both teams who are not part of at least one who's not part of the full-on Bloodline versus the other one. He might stick around a little bit. So what we have is the new Bloodline headed by Solo Sikoa, joined by Jacob Fatu, the Samoan Werewolf, the Tongas, Tongaloa, and Tama Tonga, as well as, I love this nickname, the Auszilla, the Australian Godzilla, and Big Bronson Reed. They will take on the Usos, Jimmy and Jay Uso, Sami Zayn, aka Sammy Uso, the OTC, not the over the counter, but we will acknowledge him, Roman Reigns, the original tribal chief. And I geek so hard when Roman is slowly bringing the mic up to say whatever he's going to say, and you hear ladies and gentlemen, which, if you don't know, is how Paul Heyman
Yeah.
introduces himself, and he comes out. Look like he lost a little weight too. Paul's looking good, and announcing that a Paul Heyman guy is going to be, which is for wrestling fans, that's such a cool thing to be. Is and it's CM Punk. Not a word comes out. They have the melee, they have the brawl. You see Stereo spear and go to sleep, and then the stare down between Roman and CM Punk, and Punk as they were closing, going, "This is about me and you. This is about me and Paul," and that's why he's there. So now you have Roman Reigns, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, Sami Zayn, and CM Punk versus with Paul Heyman, who are the OG bloodline with Punk. He's not a member of the bloodline. He's there to help out. Versus the new bloodline, which is Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Big Bronson Reed. So, my friend, who do you want to win, the OG bloodline or the new bloodline?
OG.
And
I want the OG to win.
who do you think will win?
I think the OG is going to win.
I agree with you on both tasks, but I feel like you have more to say. Go for it, my friend.
Man, this was the one thing. I mean, like I was fan casting who's going to be the fifth, who's going to be the fifth.
Yeah.
It's going to be Seth, but whatever, because of all
They
the
did a great job
connections.
of setting it up to be Seth, and Seth going, hell no. That was
Right.
actually really well done.
Especially when Bronson Reed came in. They were like, okay, it's Seth. The one thing that I never even considered
Yes.
was CM Punk, and we should have seen it coming because they made a point to bring CM Punk out when they were when Solo was screwing with Heyman,
Right.
and we should have seen it then. We should have seen it then, but we didn't, and that is why the WWE is kicking ass.
Yes. It was that deal, like, who's gonna come out? When's Heyman coming out? And then when he came out, he did because probably did such good promo. Probably of a non-wrestler, the best promo in the business.
Yeah.
And probably possibly could be the best promo in the business, period. But then, and even, I mean, as I was watching, I was thinking maybe it'll be Brock. Like, maybe it would
That
be
would've been
Brock,
cool.
because that also sets up, and this is what you do with a match like this. You have a cohesive heel team, which is the new bloodline, including Bronson Reed, and then you've got the babyface team, that there's 5 of them, but they're not really a team, right? So, when they were in Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel, Jay came out separate from Jimmy and Roman. There's all the drama between Sammy and Jimmy and Jay and all that. And then right as they seem to be coming together as a group, but they're still outnumbered. Now you bring in CM Punk, who, this is awesome, because I was thinking about it. Punk left the WWE over 10 years ago at this point. That was before the Shield, especially Roman Reigns, was really I don't even think they were on the main roster at that point. So they could ask this to be something that's really fresh. And again, I both want to and think the OG bloodline wins. But just what if something happens where Punk accidentally hits Reigns, or Reigns accidentally spears Punk, and Punk gets pinned by Solo Sikoa or something? Think about just that. And then they go back to their respective brands. Roman's going to go back to SmackDown. Punk's going to go back to Raw. When do these two, butt heads, right? The two, and you got two, and Heyman has a history of the people he manages actually having feuds, right? So I think it will just be, we saw it with Brock and Punk, we saw it with Brock and Roman. What about Punk and Roman Reigns? So again, this looks really good. Just to recap what we already picked for the women's Rumble match. Again, we lined up pretty close on almost everything. We both think and want Team Rhea to win. For the world title match, we both think Gunther will win. I also want Gunther to retain. You would like to be Damian Priest. I know you're a big Damian Priest fan. I am as well. Then the main event, we both think and want the OG bloodline to win. And I think if the OG bloodline wins, which I do think will happen, I think what this sets up at the next pay-per-view, which I'm assuming will be the Rumble. I think maybe we get Roman versus Solo for the Ulafala for the tribal chief, which again, there's still one member of the bloodline we've not heard from. We saw him briefly, but when do we see the final boss?
Yeah.
All right, my friend, that was fun.
That was
All
fun.
right. So we're going to jump now to our sequel movie. So this is a list that Bradley and I chatted about. And as always, I want to give the preface that Bradley and I do not discuss our list other than what's that we're going to chat about. So we wanted to talk about the movies that we feel need sequels, but they have to be. This is a wrinkle Bradley threw in. Great job, my tag team partner, that makes it a little harder, which is because we live in a world of remakes and sequels at this point. By the way, I saw the poster for Captain America: Brave New World. Dude, that is such a badass poster. I can't wait to see Harrison Ford. RP to William Hurt. But did you notice that they actually cast an actor who is 3 years older than the actor they lost to death? Harrison Ford is 3 years older than William Hurt. So it'll be interesting to see. There's going to be a lot of CGI. Probably won't see Harrison Ford jumping off a roof as Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
But we're getting Red Hulk, which is fantastic. We're getting Thunderbolts, obviously. And we're getting, this just makes me so happy, Anthony Mackie's first film as Captain America. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll get a Steve Rogers, and even elderly? Do you think we'll get a Steve Rogers sighting in it?
I do.
Okay.
Because of this, Disney the stock in Disney is going down.
Okay.
I think you're, especially now that Robert Downey Jr. is back.
Yeah.
Marvel has gone off course. I think they're trying to course correct.
Sure.
And I think, I mean, and this is from the trailers. I mean, like Isaiah Bradley goes Manchurian candidate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the plot of of it. I mean, like, that's good plot.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
and
especially if you've read the books. If you read, because
the
the Captain America with Isaiah Bradley is probably it should be one of the best graphic novel. Everybody should read it. I mean, it's probably one of the best Captain American books that's ever been written.
Yes. And and it's obviously like in thing that the movies did, and again, I still see anything Marvel.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they did a great job during the first 10 years of it. Wow, it's amazing to say. We talk about literally as the first decade of the movies. They did a lot of great seamless transition and how the movies built on each other. This will obviously be building to another Avengers, obviously, and so you're definitely gonna get. And I haven't seen any trial, but I try to avoid some of the trailers or spoilers. But definitely, I mean, this definitely is gonna include again the Anthony Mackie version or the Sam Wilson version of Captain America. My guess is you'll definitely get a Winter Soldier or a Bucky sighting. You've got Red Hulk, which is gonna lead to the Thunderbolts, and then. What do you build next? And of course, just super quick, the thing that I'm most excited for on Disney Plus is they're bringing up Wonder Man, especially with Sir Bing Kingsley as Trevor. Just
what?
Wonder Man. Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes. So
I don't want
to take us aside, but you can. But so they've got you can find it, I'm sure, on YouTube. They've got a really short trailer for Wonder Man. So the backstory of Wonder Man in the comics is Wonder Man is actually who Vision is based off of. Okay. So the true Vision in the comics version is Simon Williams. I believe it's his alter ego. He's in love with Wanda. He quote unquote dies. So then they imprint his thoughts to make the original version of Vision, and that's why Vision's in love with Wanda. Okay, that's where that comes from. All right.
Yeah.
But he's an actor. So in what they're doing to take on this is it's also kind of in the She-Hulk Deadpool vein that they have a lot of wink nudge mentions and fourth wall breaks. Is he's an actor with these abilities, but his acting coach is Trevor from who played the Mandarin. So Trevor from Shang-Chi and Iron Man 3. And him literally driving around the back lot with Wonder Man and him trying to give him acting lessons. It's going to be funny.
It's going to be
funny. But yeah, so check out the trailer for Wonder Man, which I think comes out late 2025. But
Yeah.
it looks good. It looks good. Okay.
Sweet.
All right. So we're gonna discuss the sequels that we would love to see in movies that have to be at least 20 years old.
Mhm.
So I've got 10 picks and 10 honorable mentions. I don't know how you did your list,
I got
but
10.
all right, you just got 10-10.
I
Okay.
got 10-10.
So if you're cool, I'll go through
Sure.
my list, and the my honor mentions are in no order except for number 11, and then I give you my top 10.
Okay.
Okay, so number 20, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Just one of my favorites. I would love to see a sequel, especially with updated animation, some of the new ones that we have. I think Big was ripe for that because similar to what we saw with Jumanji, I think where does the booth go next, right? Um, Ferris Bueller. I would love to see at this point. I guess he could be Grandpa Ferris at this point, but like an updated version of Ferris Bueller. Other than you're going to have to get a new assistant principal, Beetlejuice. So we have to that piece of it. One of the movies that and I feel ashamed saying this, a movie I've never seen all the way through, E.T. But what happened? Like he went home. Come on back. Come on back, E.T.
Hmm.
The Breakfast Club, just their kids. I think this would be honestly, and I think Breakfast Club could be done on a streaming service, that's having their kids go into school and meet each other. The Witches of Eastwick, uh,
Ooh.
their kids growing up and still. And what about grandpa? What about since they're triplets? Could you imagine at this point they could be graduating for college, and dad shows up at college graduation, and they learn that their dad is the devil and they have magical powers. I think that would be fantastic
Yeah.
to do. The Burbs, just I don't even know where that goes. I just want to see Tom Hanks and that group again
Right.
get back together. The Burbs is one of my absolute favorite movies. Edward Scissorhands, I think, is
Mhm.
also ripe for being a sequel. This one almost made my top 10, but I just wasn't. Or did I? Nope. I almost put this in my top 10, but the next two were right there for my top 10. But I didn't pull the trigger. One is The Fifth Element. Now, this would be very difficult to do due to Bruce Willis's real life
Mhm.
health concerns at this moment.
Yeah.
But I would love to see the next time there's a menace, or what about a new Fifth Element? So maybe Lilu trains the future Fifth Element, and then again, almost in my top 10. But the reason that it wasn't my top 10 for number one, we've agreed that this is pretty much a perfect movie, which will be very fun when I get to my number one, though. But just because I think there's so much to be done, and actually, it's kind of sorta had a sequel in Once Upon a Deadpool. But what about doing a sequel to The Princess Bride? So that is my honorable mentions. Now, here's my top 10 in order from 10 to number one. All of these, most of these movies don't necessarily are right for a sequel. Well, some are, but I wanted to go through this. So, number 10, I want to know what happens after they leave the desert. Now that we know what's in the box, I want a 7 sequel, and they could even call it 8. Brad, what about doing a sequel to Clue?
Ooh. That would be good.
Give
I
us a
would
new
be down for that.
give us a new mystery, right?
Right. And Tim Curry's still around.
He is still around. He is. I think most of the cast, thanks to Psych, are still around and still kind of relevant.
Right.
I would absolutely love to see that. Number 8, because and this is on the similar vein. In this one, the reason I thought about this was because we had the sequel to The Shining and Doctor Sleep. Why not? Why don't we get a sequel to The Sixth Sense? Because he still would see ghosts. So showing us Haley Joel Osment, who also still acts as an adult. He still sees the ghosts, how those things have happened. And again, not a Bruce Willis project,
Mhm.
unfortunately, but I think The Sixth Sense. This is one of the ones I'm super hyped for, just to see if we could get. I mean, this one, honestly, I started thinking about this when I was watching Deadpool versus Wolverine. Now that we've had the reinvigoration of careers of both Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. Give me Demolition Man 2. Give me
Oh, that one
Demolition.
should have been on my list.
Give
That
me
one really
Demolition
should have
Man
been on my
2.
list. Demolition Man 2.
Yeah.
I mean, the seashells alone. I kind of want to know.
Yes. Rob Snyder. Yeah. And anything that puts Sandra Bullock. I almost said Samron. I don't know where that came from. They was making Sandra Bullock and Cameron Diaz one person. If science will ever
kind of want to think about that for a minute.
If science would ever make it happen, I'm gonna steal one from Jean-Luc Picard. Make it so. All right.
Make it so.
We're digging way deep into nerddom now. Okay. Number 5. Again, I think this would be fantastic. Give us another Lost Boys. It's
got sequels.
Yeah, but true.
But
I gotta give
it's got sequels, but doesn't really have sequels. That's
kind of like I mean, it's kind of like The Crow. It's like
right. Yeah, there's sequels out there,
like
are
Dusk
they
Till
sequels?
Dawn has sequels, but
yeah.
Okay, all right. True. I got that's fair. That's fair. Next up, I'm gonna go with Galaxy Quest.
Is that 20 years old?
Let me double check. I want to say Galaxy Quest.
I bet it is.
I think it is, but I'm gonna double check my math there because I was doing a good job of writing the years that movies came out, but I gonna do a quick 99. So yes,
that was 99.
99. So Galaxy Quest is 25 years old. Galaxy Quest can vote, drink beer, and be paying child support. That's how old Galaxy Quest is.
Wow.
Another one is just because I think it's just incredibly funny. Most of the cast is still around. We did have one notable character or cast member that passed away, RP to Paul Rubin, but I would love to see Mystery Men, a sequel to Mystery Men.
Ooh, that would be good too.
That would be really good. I think Ben Stiller should, and I think Stiller could totally do that. I mean, Ben Stiller, if you're listening, and we know you are, give us a Mystery Men 2. I think
William H. Macy's around.
William H. Macy, Keenan Mitchell is still around.
Yeah.
Like again, I think it totally could be done, and it's also rife, similar to again. So these are the ones that because we have so many superhero movies, and Hancock 2 is supposed to come out next year. This goes back to our conversation earlier about the Greatest American Hero. Mystery Men is definitely in that superhero genre, and it would be fantastic to have that relaunched as a sequel, or again, good streaming content. Ben Stiller is an incredible writer and director of the next generation of it. So seeing Mr. Furious, just really furious, maybe he didn't really get the girl. The marriage broke up. So he's even more furiouser. And he'd even call himself Mr. Furiouser. Yeah.
Or take it the other way, and he's not furious anymore,
right?
And he's so happy because he got the girl.
Yeah.
And the whole plot is to get him to be furious again.
Can you imagine they had this kid who totally can't relate to their dad? Like, especially if he has a daughter, she can't relate because her dad's just a soft touch. And his wife is like, no, there was a time, right? And she just doesn't believe the hype because again, the only person that had any powers was the Sphinx, right? Really, so like. Oh no, it was a PR stunt. Like, you really didn't do these things, right? I think that could leave itself. So then my top 2 are, again, 2 of my absolute favorite movies. We talk about them a ton on this podcast, would be The Goonies. And again, you have so many of those actors all around doing great things. You have Data, you have, Sean Astin still around, Josh Brolin. If they can keep him from snapping his fingers anymore, he would be great. And give him and get rid of the metal. It'd be great if he showed up, fan cast and fourth wall break. What if they actually make Goonies 2 and Josh Brolin's brand character's there, but his arm's like in a cast? And what happened to your arm? Oh, nothing. By the way, do you notice that the arm that Thanos snaps and gets burned, and the metal arm on Cable are the same arm?
That's amazing.
It is.
That is amazing.
Yeah, just saying. Like, maybe Josh Brolin's got a thing. Okay, Josh Brolin got a thing with his left arm. But then number 1, remember I said earlier that Princess Bride didn't make my top 10 because it's a perfect movie. the most perfect movie that we've talked about, but I would love to see it. And because they actually told us that there was gonna be a sequel, so that we already know the title of it, Spaceballs 2, The Quest for More Money.
Yeah. So we have several that are connected, and let me count them out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 repeats out of my 10.
That might be the most we've ever had. All right.
Yes. So like my 10 through 1, it doesn't really matter. There's not really, they're all about the number 1 is of course, but like my number 1. Everything else is kind of on the same thing.
Okay.
Number 10, this movie has starred Nicole Kidman. The Others.
I
what
thought for
happens
sure.
to the ghost family
Yes.
in the changing world. I want to see more of that.
Yes. Very good movie, by the way. And one of the few movies that had a legit spoiler that you can really talk about for a long time. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Or legit twist. Okay.
Yep. Next is Big. You said it all, man. I want to know where. I want to see. I want to see what happens. I want to see Tom Hanks's character running into a kid that made the wish and became big and helping him on that journey.
Right. It's got to mentor him. Absolutely.
Yep. 8, 7, and again, like.
Yep.
It should be called 8. It really should.
Yes. And you can play with again, and you have a great reason for not including Kevin Spacey, and you got to write him off. And now we just won't even go there.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
his character's already dead, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, you don't even got to worry about it. This one. All right.
Yep. This is one that I'm actually kind of surprised didn't make your list.
Okay.
And I think it could be a TV show, it could be more movies or whatever, but Office Space.
Oh, yeah.
Office Space. Office Space is still one of the funniest movies I've ever watched in my life.
Incredible. I watch that just if I want to giggle. Yeah. I watch that opening sequence with the Michael Bolton character rapping, and then the homeless guy comes down and he locks his door and turns down the radio, and the minute he's there, he leans back into the gangster rap. Yeah, and by the way, if you've ever, and Brad, you and I met working in an office, there are days you just want to take a baseball bat to the freaking cop here.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Paper Jam. Why? Yeah, absolutely love it.
Still, TPS reports I talk about, all the time, man.
Every time I have to do unnecessary paperwork, it's a TPS report. Absolutely.
Exactly. 6, I put Spaceballs in there. Spaceballs is not my top 1, actually.
Really? Okay.
It is not my top 1, actually. And then I also put Stargate. Now, this is kind of cheating because I know there's a lot of TV shows about Stargate, but there's not another.
Not a sequel movie,
show.
Though.
Yeah, no, not another movie.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell could still do it. I mean, like there's things that you could do with Stargate. Stargate is such a brilliant,
the concept and absolutely.
Number 4, Princess Bride. Again, perfect movie, but there's more that can happen in Florida.
Yes.
Really, really is.
Just make it Dread Pirate Robbers. Like, you don't even touch Wesley and Buttercup. Make it about the Dread Pirate Robbers. Absolutely.
And actually, we did a whole podcast.
We did
pitching sequels to the Princess Bride.
Yes,
and it's a Revenge of the Nerds. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Again, Fifth Element. I made my list, and again, I don't know how they would do it, but I think they're maybe go. I mean,
maybe his. And again, we hate. I mean, the real world's the real world. Potentially he's passed away, and you see Lilu trying to figure out her power again, or they maybe have an offspring. But yeah, I think it'll be very well, and just the orange outfit. I mean, come on now. Yep.
Number 2.
I'm sorry.
I could see this
in that, like, her just because it's similar to. I don't know if you watched the, and if you didn't, now that Deadpool and Wolverine is on Disney Plus, they doing a assembled, like, behind the scenes documentary on it. The interviews with Jennifer Garner and talk about her character as Elektra are so fantastic. And one of the things she mentioned is the Elektra costume has a little more fabric than it did when she did both Daredevil and Elektra. She points out this Elektra's had 3 kids, so no one wants to see all that midriff anymore. I would, just saying.
I mean,
But
yeah.
could you imagine just Lilu in The Fifth Element, just having the outfit like hang up in the closet? Like, nah,
Not even gonna try.
not even gonna
Nope.
try it. All right,
Nope.
go for it, my friend.
Number 2, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, man.
Boom.
The fact that there isn't a sequel for Who Framed Roger Rabbit right now
Yes.
is crazy.
Yes.
Same with Cool World as well, but
Oh, Cool World, so good.
such a good movie.
So good. So good.
But my number 1, Goonies. The Goonies.
Yes.
I don't see how. I mean,
Yes.
man, so much could be done. I
mean,
know
that's
that
my
I know there's been
tagline when we
talks.
close every week is,
Right.
Goonies never say die. But again, just yeah.
But yeah, man, that's my list.
Yeah. And I think the only member of the cast that technically isn't an actor anymore is the actor that played Chunk, but he's an entertainment lawyer. In fact, I think he represents, if I remember reading the article correctly, he actually represents some of his Goonies castmates because again, he's an entertainment lawyer now.
That's
So
awesome.
I just like, okay, well, maybe you drag him out just for a little bit. And come on, we all got to give Corey Feldman something to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because his music career is not very good.
Oh gosh,
God, it's
yes.
so bad.
Yeah. All right,
So
my friend.
bad. All right, man. Let's get into some games here.
right.
Let's
You want to do your
honest
constellation? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say. You want mine first?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm give you a hint before I start this. So again, and this is when I'm very proud. I think I made a hard one. I think you'll get it. I'm going to give you a hint before I start it. So as we're recording the Sunday before Thanksgiving. By the way, everybody have a great, happy, and safe Thanksgiving holiday. One of the big things that happens on Thanksgiving is football. Also, we record on Sundays. Also, this time of year, football. So I will give you the hint that this is a football-based movie, or football's a part of the movie. All right. So
Okay.
here we go.
Necessary Roughness.
No, but good movie. Nice one.
Okay.
All right.
That
So
would
here
have been
we
awesome
go.
if I got
Here
it
we go.
before.
Here we go. By the way, I wondered, did he ever? That'd have been great if Scott Bakula would have just went back into like Necessary Roughness. That'd been great. All right.
Kathy Ireland, dude, in that movie. Woo.
Yes. I would move to Ireland. Never mind. Okay. Here we go. All right. So same plot, different characters for our movie, and remember, it does have football as a major part of it.
Okay.
Here we go. In a film that is impossible to forget, we see Turk prove that he's always been a scrub and that he was clueless long before medical school. Before taking us to La La Land and falling in love with Barbie, Ken avoided being the fall guy and used his arms and legs to help us walk on sunshine. And while the movie wasn't gone in 60 seconds, the assistant coach helped the team to avoid Armageddon and prove that while they are not the Avengers, their team is not only mighty, it's mighty, mighty. At the end of the day, a cheerleader was saved long before she became a cheerleader, and glory was achieved by a group of gladiators beyond their head coach's training day. Do you know the movie, my friend?
Remember the Titans.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Well,
sir.
That is one of the best sports movies
It
that
is.
has ever been made.
It is.
Denzel Washington is such a
Yes.
great actor.
Yes.
And you know what? That's going to kind of lead into what I'm talking about because he's in Gladiator 2.
That's why I picked it. I
Awesome.
figured that would help. All right, so
All right,
do it.
man. So we'll go into my constellation for you.
All right, bro.
Are you ready?
I think I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, so Brian,
Yes, sir.
the constellation, which means how many stars can you connect to, can you name to connect
Mm-hmm.
the star of
Yes, sir.
Pedro Pascal? You're going to need to connect him to the one, the only Jeff Goldblum. So I want you to connect Gladiator 2 to,
Jeff Goldblum.
yes, to Wicked.
And I love the fact that you went lick it. I love it. Okay.
This one I actually had to get help with. I had to go to IMDb. I was gonna I went a couple different ways, but let me tell you this: I have this down, counting Pedro Pascal and Jeff Goldblum as stars because they both are
Sure.
4 stars.
Okay, so I
There
mean,
will
there are
always
two
be
between
2.
them. There's 2 between them. Yep.
There's 2 between them.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to think of because their careers don't intersect in timeline a whole great deal.
Nope.
So
yeah, this one's gonna be tough, man. Yeah. Yep, you're gonna have to get a little creative on this one, but you can use some of those big flagships that they starred with a lot of people, because there's a movie that you're forgetting. That's one that I had to use to connect the dots.
Huh. Okay.
You're gonna start Jeff Goldblum and work your way to Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like. Hang on, I think I'm getting there.
Ooh, all right.
So it's 2 in between. That's the whole thing. I'm trying to get it where there's. Huh.
This is probably the toughest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on. I think I might have it. No, you got me. You got me. All right, hit me.
All right. You ready?
I'm tapping out, my friend.
Okay. We are going to start with Pedro Pascal, who is in Wonder Woman 84 as Maxwell Lord.
Shoot!
The person who's also in Wonder Woman, who plays Hippolyta, is Connie Nielsen.
Yep.
Connie Nielsen stars in the movie Hunted with Tommy Lee Jones.
I don't think I've ever seen Hunted. Nice job here. Okay.
Tommy Lee Jones stars with Jeff Goldblum in the movie In the Valley of Elah.
Yep. Well done, sir.
Awesome.
Well done.
Awesome.
Well done. I'm proud of you. That was a good one.
All right, man.
All right. So I have an honest ad, but I'm doing my honest ad a little different because, again, we are recording the Sunday evening before Thanksgiving. I would like to talk about who to invite to Thanksgiving dinner to ensure you have a wonderful, wonderful meal. So one of the first people that you need to think about inviting to Thanksgiving dinner is someone that can really help you plan the day, plan the event. You have people coming in from out of town. Everybody wants to bring a dish. Some people don't want to bring a dish that you have no business cooking. You got people's preferences and their allergies. You just don't want it to get out of control. So you need a planner. You need someone that can really think about really how to really just come in, take over, almost like if you wanted to have some type of major heist at a building, let's say like Nakatomi Towers. So I
So
think
I got to put you on a pause really quick.
yeah.
Okay, so there's a rock band that called Art of Dying. Okay,
Okay.
and I am gonna send you something. They released a song, and it is the greatest Christmas song that has ever been
Ever been
made.
ever? Okay.
Ever. It is called "A Die Hard Christmas,"
Bro.
and it is wonderful, so wonderful.
Okay.
I'm sending it to you right
My guy.
freaking
My
now.
guy. All right.
But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt you.
no,
But
that's fine.
before I forgot that,
I
carry
appreciate it.
on.
So with that, so the person that will help us plan our Thanksgiving meal so it will not die hard or die easy is one Hans Gruber. Now from there, once you get everybody in, you got to make sure you have all the accoutrement, all the necessary thing, all the plates, all the bowls, all the knives, all the forks, and yes, even the spoons. And why a spoon, may you ask, Brad? Because it'll hurt more. So the person in charge of our silverware and dishes is one Sheriff of Nottingham. After that is someone's got to do the prayer. Okay, the fellowship, the warmth, and I couldn't think of anyone better than someone who has robust vocabulary, who can project themselves as not only a speaker, not only a guest, but as just a fantastic communicator of all things regarding the day, the holiday, the events. You know, someone that even played potentially King Lear, someone that could say things robust as by Grapthar's hammer, by the sons of Warvan, you shall be avenged. And of course, that is one Sir Alexander Dan from Galaxy Quest, I can speak. And then finally, if you got to do cleanup. Now, Brad, I don't know about you. When I have to clean up after Thanksgiving, it's a pain in the butt. It just takes far too much time. Wouldn't it be nice if someone could just say, wave a magic wand?
Yeah.
And defense against the dark arts, such as doing dishes. And I can't think of anyone as good as one Severus Snape.
Yes.
So all these characters, Hans Gruber, the Sheriff of Nottingham, Alexander Dane. I can't say his name without doing that. Alexander Dane. Because remember, he's British. By the way, did you catch who says do you know who says he's British in the Galaxy Quest movies?
No.
Sam Rockwell. That is who plays Guy in Galaxy Quest.
What?
Yes.
That's Sam. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, that is Sam Rockwell. Lots of facial, the mustache and dyeing the hair, but yes, that is Sam Rockwell. He plays Guy. And then, of course, cleanup by Severus Snape, also played by one Alan Rickman. So I would just, while it's not possible unless we can get the ghost of him to come, but I would love to invite Alan Rickman to my Thanksgiving dinner, folks. So again, have a happy, safe, and enjoyable Thanksgiving, sir. So that's what I got for us this week, bro.
All right, man. You got a better than us human of the week.
He's gonna be my better than us human who is Alan Rickman. I've been on a thing with watching a lot of his movies and digging it. So my better than us human of the week, R.I.P. to one of the all-time greats, Mr. Alan Rickman, who again starred in the greatest Christmas movie of all time,
Die Hard. Yes.
Yes, sir.
I have to give mine to my 22-year-old daughter, Kendall Morgan.
Hey.
She just released her senior thesis for acting school, for musical theater school. She's out in
Nice.
Seattle, chasing her dreams and making life her bitch. So
Yes,
she's
sir.
doing a great job. Super proud of that kid. She broke her foot about a week and a half ago or so, and is still making it work. So, Kendall Morgan, you are my better than us human of the week. Yes.
Avada Kedavra and all that. Wait, no, not that one. Yeah, yeah, woo, yeah.
All right, man.
No,
Where can
no
I find you?
cameo this week. I noticed this.
I know. I thought I kept on hearing, hearing the steps come down, and it wasn't happening, and which is weird because she must be getting busy with mom upstairs.
Maybe she's finally been too cool for us. She's outgrown the podcast, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So you tell her we need 2 cameos next time we get together. With that, let's put a pin in this, my friend. Let's go.
Where can we find you, buddy?
As always, you find me in the Book of Faces at Brian Stephen Dennis. That's what the S actually stands for. Give me a like, give me a follow. I try and keep my content funny and occasionally weird.
All right, sounds good. Now you can find me, friend me, or follow me at Facebook at Nerd Positive, YouTube at Nerd Positive 1, TikTok at Nerd Positive 1, and at movies.bs. You can check Instagram for more. Check out Lunch Break Reviews. There's always something coming around with that. If you feel there's more of a conversation, feel free to reach out. Let's talk. We don't mind doing a triple threat match at any time.
Hey.
Yeah, message us on Facebook at Nerd Positive, or I'm also active on TikTok all the time. If you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. You can buy me a holy cow. Our ears must have been burning.
It will not happen. We will not have a podcast without a cameo by Princess Leia. She is here. She is here.
Is there a new light in here? It makes it so bright.
Hi, Princess Leia.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Cool.
We're
almost done. What took you so long to come down and visit?
I was on the phone with my friend.
Oh, is this friend a boy or a girl?
A girl.
Okay, I was just checking because
Her name's Fiona.
Fiona.
Give a shout out to Fifi.
I have 2 jokes.
Let's hear them.
Jokes. Okay. So, do your socks have holes in them?
Yes.
Yes.
You're ruining it. Say no.
No.
Then how do you put them on?
That's not a joke. That's a question.
Exactly. And then the
Okay.
second one.
All right.
Then this is also a question. Is this felt?
Yes.
Say no.
No.
Is the fabric felt?
You're feeling it right now.
Did I do these to you already?
No.
No,
You're
they're
ruining up my jokes.
they're not funny.
That is not. That's mean.
I'm sorry. I adore you, Princess, but they're
Work on those
not
jokes.
funny. They're not funny. They're not. Those are like
jokes.
worse than dad jokes. Yeah, those that's bad. Yeah. Okay.
Well, at least I don't send them to myself.
Oh wow. Does your dad
He
actually do
sends
that?
them yeah, he does that. He also
Okay.
has 2 dad jokes apps. So, just saying.
Hey, Princess Leia, do you know when a joke becomes a dad joke?
When it becomes a dad.
No, when it's a parent.
Same thing.
No, it's not.
Brian, bye.
I don't want to.
Well, we're closing the podcast. All right, kiddo.
What if I close up the podcast for you?
Nope.
No, Daddy, stop it.
Okay.
No, Daddy.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So my ears are bleeding, but
Yes.
with that being said, I don't know if you can hear me, but I told her that the reason that neither one of us, we weren't ruining her jokes because they have to be jokes to begin with, and they're not funny. But yeah, because the one with because when she goes, the one with the socks, she goes, "Have you heard?" So I'm like, "No, it's not even a joke; it's a question." So yeah, so with that being said, my friend, lead us off. All right, bro. Tell us about yourself. Tell us.
You know what? Yep. Let's just go right into the end there. You can go to Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon, but thank you for leveling up our awesome and being part of the Nerd Positive family. Brian, we are at the max levels of awesome for the week. Let's end the show like we do on a positive note.
Well, as always, thank you, boys and girls, from across podcast land for number one, surviving our pandemic and now testing nerd positive. We ask you this all the time, and that is to number one, never give up and never give up, never surrender, and remember that Goonies never say die.
Friendship is like peeing on yourself. Everyone can see it, but only you get the warm feeling that it brings. You know, you're like a goldfish. You might forget what you're doing, but you always keep swimming. If you think about it, every time you feel stupid, you just got a little bit smarter. And squirrels' cheeks are also their nutsacks. And one last question. Did we make you nerd positive?
Yes,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, folks.